The fall of the Roman Empire, the end of antiquity. The Roman Empire, once a beacon of civilization, a marvel of engineering, and the ruler of vast territories stretching from Britain to North Africa, collapsed in one of the most dramatic and transformative events in world history. The fall of the Roman Empire wasn't a single event, but a complex, gradual decline that spanned centuries, culminating in the eventual end of antiquity and the dawn of a new age. It's a tale of political intrigue, relentless barbarian invasions, internal decay, and shifting loyalties that would forever reshape Europe and the world. The glory of Rome, a world superpower, Rome was unparalleled in its power and influence. At its height in the 2nd century CE, the empire encompassed vast regions linked by a network of roads, aqueducts, and cities that symbolized Roman engineering prowess. Its military was a fearsome force, disciplined and virtually invincible. The Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and stability, allowed Rome to flourish economically, culturally, and technologically. But underneath this grandeur lay the seeds of its downfall. Internal weakness. A crumbling foundation, the Roman Empire was a sprawling entity, and managing its vast territories became increasingly challenging. By the 3rd century CE, cracks began to show. Economic troubles loomed large, runaway inflation, over-reliance on slave labor, and heavy taxation strained the empire's resources. The once mighty Roman legions were spread thin, their discipline eroding, and loyalty shifting as Rome began to rely on mercenaries who lacked allegiance to the empire. Political instability compounded these issues. The empire's leadership often descended into chaos, with emperors being assassinated, overthrown, or installed by powerful generals. Between 235 and 80 for CE, Rome experienced the crisis of the 3rd century, during which nearly 50 men claimed the title of emperor, plunging the empire into a state of anarchy.
The barbarian threat, pressure from the outside. While Rome struggled internally, external threats grew ever more formidable. The empire faced a relentless series of invasions from barbarian tribes such as the Visigoths, Vandals, and Huns. These tribes, initially seeking refuge from the expanding Hunnic Empire in the east, began encroaching on Roman territory. In 376 CE, the Visigoths, fleeing the Huns, were granted asylum within the Roman Empire. However, mistreatment and exploitation by Roman officials led to rebellion. In 378 CE, the Visigoths delivered a devastating blow to Rome at the Battle of Adrianople, killing Emperor Valens and decimating the Roman army. This marked a turning point. Rome was no longer the unassailable power it had once been. The sack of Rome, a symbolic collapsive sack of Rome by the Visigoths in 410 CE, shocked the ancient world. Alaric, the Visigoth king, led his forces into the city, looting and pillaging the capital that had stood as a symbol of Western civilization for centuries. Although Rome's political power had already shifted to other cities like Ravenna and Constantinople, the sack was a profound psychological blow. This was followed by the Vandals, who in 455 CE famously sacked Rome once again. Their name would become synonymous with wanton destruction, though historical accounts suggest they were less destructive than popularly believed. Nevertheless, the repeated invasions signaled Rome's vulnerability and diminished status. The division of empire, East versus West. Into 85 CE, Emperor Diocletian divided the Roman Empire into two halves: the Western Roman Empire, with its capital in Rome, and the Eastern Roman Empire, with its capital in Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. The division was intended to make administration more manageable, but it also created two distinct entities with different fates. The Eastern Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, flourished. Its wealth, strategic location, and strong leadership allowed it to withstand invasions and remain a dominant force for nearly 1,000 years after the fall of the West. The Western Empire, however, faced constant invasions and internal decline, leading to its eventual collapse. The fall of the Western Roman Empire by the 5th century, the Western Roman Empire was a shadow of its former self. Power rested not with the emperor but with barbarian leaders and generals who controlled much of the military. In 476 CE, the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by Odoacer, a Germanic chieftain. This event is traditionally marked as the end of the Western Roman Empire and the fall of ancient Rome. However, the fall wasn't as abrupt as the date suggests. By this time, the Western Empire had been fragmented, with various barbarian kingdoms emerging in its place. The Roman way of life continued in some form, but the centralized authority and grandeur of the empire were gone.
The role of Christianity. Another key factor in the fall of the Roman Empire was the rise of Christianity. Once a persecuted minority, Christians gained prominence after Emperor Constantine converted to the faith and made it the official religion of the empire. The church became a unifying force, but it also shifted loyalties away from the emperor to religious leaders. The focus on spiritual salvation often conflicted with the militaristic and civic values that had defined Rome. Critics argue that this change diluted the empire's strength, though others see Christianity as a force that helped preserve Roman culture through the turbulent transition to the Middle Ages. The end of antiquity and the dawn of a new era. The fall of the Roman Empire marked the end of antiquity and the beginning of the Middle Ages. Europe transitioned from a centralized empire to a collection of feudal kingdoms. The infrastructure, legal systems, and cultural achievements of Rome influenced these emerging states, ensuring that Rome's legacy endured. Rome's fall also ushered in a period of cultural and economic decline in Western Europe, often referred to as the Dark Ages. However, it was also a time of transformation, laying the groundwork for the eventual rise of the Renaissance and the modern era. Lessons from the fall. The fall of the Roman Empire is a cautionary tale of overextension, political instability, and the inability to adapt to changing circumstances. It's a reminder that even the most powerful civilizations can crumble if their foundations are weak. Yet, it's also a story of resilience. The ideals, culture, and innovations of Rome lived on, shaping the Western world for centuries. Conclusion: the fall of the Roman Empire is one of history's most compelling stories, filled with drama, intrigue, and far-reaching consequences. It was the end of an era, but also a new beginning as the world transitioned from the grandeur of Rome to the diverse tapestry of medieval Europe. Rome's legacy continues to inspire and teach, reminding us of the enduring impact of history's greatest empires.